So Glover Teixeira manages to submit Jan Blachowicz and manages to become the oldest first-time UFC champion of all time. I mean, wow, it was a great performance from him. I mean, it was very, very impressive what he managed to do. Managed to actually dominate him from the beginning. In the first round, he managed to actually get him onto a very unfavorable position, and he managed to actually stop him. Jan Blachowicz obviously got submitted, I believe it was in round 2, in 3 minutes in. So yeah, it was a relatively quick stoppage, and it was a really quick fight from that perspective. If you look at the first round though, like it wasn't like a surprise submission, like for example when Anderson Silva fought Chael Sonnen. It wasn't anything like that. From the beginning, Glover Teixeira just seemed to dominate. He just managed to actually completely dominate him from every position, even standing up and striking. I think Glover Teixeira managed to actually win. He actually managed to land a right hand and wobbled. He actually wobbled him. So from that perspective, it was quite impressive seeing Glover Teixeira's striking ability. I mean, I actually did think before the fight, I was like, you know what, this is last chance saloon for both of them. I mean, just from the perspective that basically both of them are in their late 30s, early 20s. Like, let's be real, Glover Teixeira's 42. He's not got long left, and on top of that, you got Jan Blachowicz, who's 38. So just from that perspective, it doesn't look like they're both going to be around for a long time. But from that perspective, I just think he's in a position where he could. They're both going to go for broke, and I just think that's exactly what happened. I just think they're both in a position when they just thought, you know what, I'm literally just going to go for it. I'm literally going to do what I have to do to make it happen, and that's what Glover Teixeira did. I think it was a very good performance from him. For some reason, Jan Blachowicz just looked a bit flat. He just didn't look like himself in there. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. He just did not look like himself. He did land a few strikes, don't get it twisted. He did land a few shots, but he didn't look like he was as purposeful as Glover Teixeira was. Glover Teixeira looked like he wanted to completely dominate. He wanted to go in there and do his thing, and he wanted to completely exclamation mark in terms of his supremacy in the division. Obviously, coming into this fight, he was on a 5-fight win streak. He beat good opponents like Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos, so he was on a bit of a tear. Obviously, Jan Blachowicz going into this fight was in a bit of a tear. He beat Israel Adesanya, he beat Reyes, he beat Corey Anderson, he beat Luke Rockhold, so both of them were on a tear. But just seeing it from that perspective, just seeing how dominant he actually was, it was quite frightening. Glover Teixeira just looked like he completely dominated him from the beginning. He literally put him into full mount, and he completely dominated him from the high position. When they were standing, he was actually out striking him to some extent as well. So yeah, it was a very impressive performance, just seeing him do his thing. I mean, it almost looked like Jan Blachowicz didn't look like he belonged in there. Like, don't get it twisted, he's a champion in his own right, and I've got a lot of time for him. I'm a big fan of his the way he carries himself outside of the octagon. Like, I remember before the fight, pre-fight, he gave him an alcohol, I think it was a Polish beer, to celebrate his birthday. So just from that perspective, Jan Blachowicz is a class act, and I'm a huge fan of him, and I'm a huge fan of how he's come from complete obscurity. Like this, the UFC were going to cut him, and he was on a 4-fight win-loss streak. He went on to actually become champion. So I'm a massive fan of both of these fighters. But Glover Teixeira, it was just his night, and he wasn't going to be denied, and he looked like he was on it. So yeah, just from that perspective, I'm very much looking forward to see what happens to his career. The problem is he's 42, and there's a plethora of young lions that's in the divisions that are looking to take over. Famously, Jiri Prochazca was in the crowd, and he looked like he looked like he really wanted that smoke. He was watching both of them, and obviously that is presumed to be the next title shot. Glover Teixeira is going to have to fight Jiri Prochazca. So yeah, just from that perspective, I just don't I'm not hating on Glover Teixeira, but because of his age, I just don't know if he's going to hold on to the title for that long. It feels like there's a new wave of light heavyweights coming on, from the Alexander Rakic to Jiri Prochazca to other fighters that are just coming up, man. It just seems like there's the old guard are just lingering on. They're just barely holding on. They're barely holding on to their supremacy. They barely look like they're going to hold on to it, because it just seems like you've got these young lions that are coming up. But it's great to see that Glover Teixeira managed to get his fairy tale ending in his career. They managed to win the title. Like, let's be real, this was his last chance to win it, and I'm glad that he did it. I'm glad that he won it against all odds. He managed to do it. He could at least, regardless of how long he keeps the title for, he can at least say he was a champion. So yeah, just from that perspective, I think it's interesting to see, just to see where his career goes from here. Is he going to hold on to the title? Like, I just don't see him getting past Jiri Prochazca. But then again, I could be wrong, because Jiri is a kickboxer, and let's be real, Glover Teixeira's bread and butter is his striking. So just from that perspective, I just think it's interesting to see where he goes, because there could be a chance that Glover Teixeira does another upset. He might somehow pull it off and beat Jiri Prochazca. If he beats Jiri Prochazca, that would be a huge upset, because there's a lot of hype about Jiri Prochazca. But truth be told, I'll be honest with you, man, like, we've not seen Jiri Prochazca's ground game yet, like, really tested in the UFC. Like, and there was a time in the Reyes fight where he himself said that he got buzzed. So he's far from being a fighter who's completely infallible. So Glover Teixeira might be able to pull off the upset again. He might pull it off again. Who knows? It could happen. I mean, an upset happened just now, so just from that perspective, anything is possible in the sport of MMA. So yeah, one thing that I did find a bit weird, and I found it a bit off, was as soon as he got the submission in, Jan Blachowicz immediately tapped out. Like, I thought he would. It's almost like he tapped out straight away. Like he knew that was it. It was over. Like he didn't allow himself to hold on or try to not tap out. It's as soon as the chokehold got initiated, as soon as he initiated it, it's almost like he tapped out immediately. He didn't wait at all, and I did find that a little bit off. I felt like, as a champion, obviously I'm not one to criticize, because I'm just some guy who's talking behind a microphone, but I just thought, like, maybe he should have held on a bit more. Maybe he should have, like, put himself in a position where he just should have said, you know what, maybe he should have put himself in a position, like, where he just said, you know what, I'll try to hold on for a little bit. I'll try to hold on to my title for a little bit. But I don't think he threw the fight. Don't get it twisted, because immediately after the fight was called, he did look like very sad. He looked like he was on the verge of tears, because he lost his title. So I don't think he threw the fight, but at the same time, I just feel like maybe he should have I don't know, maybe he should have, like, tried to hold on for a little bit. Maybe just see how far he could potentially go with this. But then again, it's just maybe it was written in the wall that day. He said in a post-fight press conference as well, he didn't look like he was himself as well. Obviously, he's not trying to make any excuses, but he didn't look like he wanted to be there. So yeah, just from that perspective, maybe it was a good thing he tapped out, because you can seriously get injured with something like that around your neck, especially with someone who's got the proficiency that Thingy has got, Glover Teixeira has, as his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game. So yeah, just from that perspective, I just found it interesting to see just to see how far somehow Glover Teixeira has pulled off the upset and managed to get this done against all odds. He's managed to actually beat a well-respected champion in Jan Blachowicz, and 7 years ago he had his title shot. and now 7 years later is champion. I mean, who would have thought this would have happened? So yeah, that's just my opinion on this fight. Tell me your opinion. What do you think is going to happen next? Do you think Glover Teixeira can actually defend his title? Do you think he's going to beat the likes of Jiri Prochazca and obviously the other fighters that are coming up now? Do you think he's going to actually do it? I think it remains to be seen. I'm not going to write him off because we've not seen Jiri Prochazca's ground game yet, but I'm just happy that he managed to do it. He managed to beat the odds, and he managed to actually get himself into a position to actually win a title. He's had a long career. It took him 20 years to get to this point, and somehow he's done it. He's done it against all odds. So yeah, fair play to him. And I'm sure I actually thought in my head whoever loses this fight is going to retire, whether it's Glover Teixeira or Jan Blachowicz. But Jan Blachowicz said immediately in the post-fight press conference that he's regardless, like, he's going to keep going, he's going to keep pushing. So maybe he's going to keep going. He's a champion in his own right, so he's got the right to do that. So yeah, that's just my opinion on this fight. Tell me your opinion. Who do you think's going to fight? Who do you think's going to go? Where does each of their career goes? Where do you think Glover Teixeira goes from here? Where do you think Jan Blachowicz goes from here? And who do you think's going to fight who next? What do you think's going to happen? Do you think Jiri Prochazca will win the title? Do you think he's going to lose? What do you think's going to happen? That's just my opinion on this particular fight, and it was great watching this event. So yeah, tell me what you think below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.